So we want to just, first of all, welcome everybody that's taken time out. We know Sunday night is kind of either a hit or miss night where people are spending time with family, and sometimes they get home late. But during the school year, it's really a great time to do business meetings and get-togethers with your teammates because like it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast right now, and most people are home. So we want to thank everybody for taking time to join us tonight. My name is, Jason, you want to mute me out? I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, I want to just welcome everybody tonight and thank you for taking time to be here. We're excited. We've got some great information. My name is Scott Nelson, and this is my business associate and partner, Jason Cesar from Bermuda, and Michael Percy, my sponsor, is joining us from Montreal tonight. So we're going to just have kind of an open forum here, and what we're going to do basically is just kind of start with just some really great points that you need to understand, I think, about USI-Tech, and starting with that, let's cover some of the company updates that have come out over the last month or two. Currently, USI is operating in over 60 countries. It may be more than that because I think this update's maybe about a month old now. We are over, as far as I am, and Michael, you might know, so please jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, about 200,000 plus partners, and I think we were seeing between about 5 to 10,000 new partners joining worldwide every week. We have currently, or when this update was put out, sold over $350 million in BTC packages. That doesn't have anything to do with the software sales for our Forex product. We are just, I think, getting pretty close, if I'm not mistaken, to releasing our new software back office that was created by a top U.S. company. And this new back office, state-of-the-art back office, not only will have a new back office, but we will have two separate websites, one for people who just want to purchase BTC packages and other products, and these are people who are not interested in sharing the unique opportunity with USI, and then we'll have another website for those people that will be more of an informational website directed to the traditional direct selling business model. All compensation plans will be merged. We'll no longer have two separate compensation plans. The 3x3 matrix will be removed, and we will use the single unilevel matrix option, which will pay out commissions based on both the Forex and the current BTC products, and then, of course, the new product that will be released and announced at our one-year celebration that's coming up in the beautiful city of London in the UK. I am so bummed out that we can't be there because we just got settled in and it didn't work out for me to jump on a plane and go over, but I know Jason will be over there, and I don't know if Dave's is on the call tonight, but Daniel will be there, and Steve Myers will be there. So we have a good representation of numerous people. If you're anywhere, there's still some tickets left, I understand. Special rates on the hotel, and you can jump online in the back office.
I have two to sell, actually. Yeah, I got two to sell myself, actually. I ended up buying four.
Okay, so if you...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, if anybody's interested in tickets, just put in the chat box for Jason and let him know you're interested, or you have somebody over in Europe or in the U.S. or wherever that wants to get over. That event, by the way, is starting on Saturday. It's a one-day event, the 28th. I believe there are some activities in the preceding day or so, maybe dinners and opportunities for you to hang out with other people in USI.
So Scott, just to comment on the one thing you were saying. So it's expected from everything I heard. So I went to the USA launch, and they indicated it'd be launched at this event sort of thing, those websites. The one just for the people that want to be affiliates, and also for the people that are just going to be customers. And again, Horace reiterated that on another video I just saw. He was interviewed by someone when he was on his cell phone sort of remotely, and they reiterated November 1st. So that looks like it may be the time. But again, there's never a guarantee. If something goes wrong with the launch, some development problems, then it's going to be delayed, I'm sure. That's how IC works.
Yeah, just make sure that you're patient. You know, it always seems like if somebody says, even if they say, we're going to try to do it and have it ready by November 1st. I know Horace, I didn't hear the one you heard, but I heard the one where he says, you know, be patient with us, but that looks like a really good shot. Michael, if you have any additional updates, please let us know on that, because Michael's kind of got a little better ear to the corporate side of things than we do here in Bermuda and the United States. Okay, I'm really excited about the new mining, and Michael, if you want to chime in on that, explain what we're going to do to become the biggest crypto and altcoin mining operations in the world. You want to touch on that, Michael?
Hi, Scott. Sorry, I was just distracted a bit before, but I know one thing to keep in mind is that the company is moving a lot of their capital into mining, because when you look at it, it's actually a lot more reliable form of income over time. It's not quite as profitable as the trading, but the thing with the trading is that the profitability that we're getting at the moment is very high, but it won't stay high just because the market is immature. But when it matures, it'll flatten out, and those opportunities to make the big profits will go. So they're really looking to gear up towards mining, and at the moment they actually have some very sophisticated software that optimizes the mining in a way that makes it a lot more profitable than traditional mining operations. So I think Horst said at one of the events recently that we want it to be one, if not the biggest, one of the biggest mining operations in the world. So that's where their focus is, and it might give you some insight into what the next product might be as well. I think it's going to be in the crypto space, and I think it's going to be involved in mining. I can't say exactly. I've got a lot of clues as to what it might be, but you've probably heard this as well. It's going to apparently increase our commissions and our earnings by 2 to 3 times the next product. So it
awesome.
Sounds very, very, very exciting.
At the American event, Horace was sitting and while people were talking, Dan was talking, and he was like fooling. They had these bitcoins, these kind of gold-plated bitcoins, and he was spinning one around, and then he just kind of stopped and sort of stood up, and he sort of said, "Imagine if this had a different letter on it or something." You know, he was kind of like, and I don't know what that means exactly, but I kind of got the inference that maybe USI might try to tokenize their operation or some sort of, I don't know. I mean, these are just speculations, but there's some exciting stuff happening. Really, I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's going to really be exciting because we're almost there. It's just hard to believe it's the 1st of October. So another 4 weeks, actually 4 weeks from yesterday, we will no longer be in suspense, hopefully, about that. So,
one good thing, Scott, unless you've been told this before, we can actually use our available balance to buy the next product. So if you've got some capital sitting in there, then you can actually make use of that to buy the next product. So it's not like you have to put necessarily more money in the system. So that's just something to keep in mind.
So that's a great, you can use your existing commissions or daily returns if you have it sitting in your available balance to purchase the new product, is what Michael's saying, correct?
Yes.
So Michael, do you have any more? So when they talk about the mining operation, and Horace mentioned, he mentioned they want to be one of the biggest in the world. Now, do you know in relation to all the pools that are sort of listed, what that means? Like he specifically said in one video, greater than what's that one that the Vigilante had on there, that one mining guy?
The big club network.
Big club network. Like he mentioned that one specifically, but that one actually only holds 2.6% of the mining pool in the world.
Well, it fluctuates a lot if you look at if you track the miners. I mean, at one point, Big Club I think had 10% of the world. So it really depends on the hashing power and how much they're hitting at one point in time. Right on. So it fluctuates every single day. You can check the whole pool, but I mean that's only representing the Bitcoin mined. I mean, you've got all the altcoins as well, and a lot of the operations are actually a lot more profitable mining the altcoins because some of them are so valuable, whether it's Ethereum or Dash or Monero. So they don't necessarily have to stick to Bitcoin mining. So they can. What I understand with a lot of the new machines is that you can actually look at where the market is in terms of the pricing of each coin, and you can direct the same hardware towards those coins that are most profitable at that time, and you can flip backwards and forwards. And what it does is it actually, you can convert the coins that you mine into Bitcoin. So we might get paid out in Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean to say that the company is not earning in Dash or Monero or Ethereum or any of the top currencies.
Right.
So that's the thing that can be done. It's kind of like it's almost like mining and arbitrage and trading all at the same time.
This is good news. And another thing that really makes it even more exciting is the announcement by the company that there is now a relationship with a unknown multimillionaire or even a billionaire investor, as the notes that I've had here, who owns and is inventing technologies that have been complementary and synergistic properties. That's going to be apparently getting involved with USI. So obviously, when you're a young company like USI, just celebrating its first anniversary, even though the company or the group has been together much longer than that, it's going to be very, very unique to be able to have investors that believing in what they're seeing, and it really gives a great deal of credibility, additional credibility to the company. So that's certainly exciting news, along with the news that Horst shared back when I first joined, that his plan is to bring this company public in 2019. So these are all some really important things that we have to look forward to. And really, before we get into some of the compliance that I want Michael to talk about a little bit, and then anything else that we have to cover, and then we'll open up for Q&A. But just keep in mind that the opportunity with USI is number one, so super unique, and there isn't anything out there like it. There's a lot of companies out there that have tried to duplicate what we're doing. They can't. Most of them have come on to the scene for 3 to 6 months and then they're gone. But just a few of the advantages that when you're talking to potential business partners and associates or customers, but mostly to the people that are interested in building teams, are just some of the advantages of what you're going to get with USI. Number one, you don't have to pay anything to join. This is totally unique for those of you that have not been around the industry long. 99.9% of the companies will charge you several hundred, if not several thousands of dollars just to join the company, just to get a website, to get some samples. It's kind of like a franchise fee, really, and some of them are a few hundred, but there's a lot of them out there that are 500, 1,000. I've even seen some that are upwards of $2,500 just to start. And of course, no monthly fees, unique, no website fees, no monthly auto ship, no recruiting or selling required. I tell the story often, and I don't think he's on here tonight, but a good friend of mine, when we started, he was very, very sick and absolutely penniless. He's a very successful, well-connected guy that hit a huge road bump in life, and basically was wiped out literally in 1 hour. Basically went from having millions in some crypto and never was able to cash it in, unfortunately, but he went to a pauper literally overnight. Then his father died a couple of days later. I reached out to him back when I started, about a week after I started, and I shared USI, and I told him that he could actually use the most valuable thing he had, which was a contact list, and that he could sign up at my website for free, and then just go and send a little email out to people, and that if they join, he was going to earn 10%, and then he would actually have money that he could take out right away, and most importantly, money that he could buy Bitcoin packages. And so he's done so. He's now over $1,000 a day in 6 months, just because he started telling people that he knew from many years back and other businesses that he was in. And that is such an encouraging way for those of you that might think, well, I've only got 50 euros, or I've only got a couple $100, and that doesn't buy me much. But listen, if you want to share this good news with many people, you can build that very, very quickly. And you never have to recruit anybody in order to earn. There's no sponsoring requirement. You're going to get that 10% on every single person that you directly refer, and even 3% right now on your second level, and you don't have to qualify to get it. Now, we're going to be going to a new compensation plan, because currently our current status is you must have the software, purchase your software license, and have 3 other people that also have their software license in order to qualify for all of the compensation plans. But starting in November, I believe it is, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, or Jason, you are not going to have the software license, but you will see that you will have to have 3 people that you personally enroll, who each have a minimum of 25 active Bitcoin packages, or BTC packages, and that will go into effect. But it's not in effect at this time. To get paid now on all 12 levels of our unilevel compensation and our 3x3 Forex compensation, you do need to have that software. But isn't it cool to know that you're not having to recruit anybody to earn? You can still qualify by getting your BTC packages and get paid every day. We actually have real owners that we can actually access, okay? If I wanted to talk to Mike Kiefer and it was important enough, I would go to my sponsor, Michael, and Michael would set up a meeting. In companies that are really, truly scams, and we're going to talk about scams and what they really are here in a moment, but these are places that have no location of where they're located. They're not registered anywhere. They don't have any names of any owners. You don't see them, their pictures. You don't see any information on them. You cannot access them. It's just impossible. You can never talk to somebody, because most of them have one person and they don't expect to be around more than a few months. They want to gather the money up, and then all of a sudden, and there's a lot of people on here that I know were parts of a company in Bitcoin that was around for about 4 or 5 months. And unfortunately, most of those lost thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay, so we have offices in multiple countries.
Scott, could I just chime in for one sec? Sorry, when you were going back, when you discussed the new compensation plan going forward, you did, and because I was managing the chat and stuff, you did mention there will be you need to have 3 directs for the first one with at least 12 to get levels 1 to 3. Did you say that?
I did not. I don't think I mentioned that, and that's a good point. I believe you will. You'll get the 10% on without sponsoring anybody, but you will no longer, when that goes into effect, it's not in effect yet. You will no longer get level 2 without qualifying. You will need to have 3 people directly referred who have 12 active Bitcoin packages, and then you will get level 1 at 10%, level 2 and 3 at 3%. So you're absolutely correct. Thank you, Jason, or Rush, whoever figured that one out that I missed.
It's always her.
Probably Rush.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So thanks, Rush. Anyways, so then, of course, we know that you can access commissions and earnings daily. How exciting is that? Another difference between most of these companies, you wait 90 to 180 days before you can even touch any of your money. That's for a specific purpose, because it won't be there in 90 to 180 days in most cases with these other companies that come and go. You basically have complete daily profits and trading results. You can go back into your back office, and one of the exciting things with the new software is they're going to be much more transparent and visible. That is really great news, because people always like as much information as possible, and I know USI, I love them because they want to get as much information as they can about what we're doing and the results that we're getting without compromising their own, to protect themselves as a company from secrets being stolen on how they trade and the software that they're using. Um, uh, people ask all the time, we're not an investment, but they say the best way to describe it, and I just basically say we're kind of like a fly on the wall, kind of riding in the backseat of a really, really powerful vehicle that we get to participate and we receive, really, and truly. I don't like to use the word in any public domain, because it is kind of incites a little bit of laziness, but passive return on our capital. It's amazing that you can come in and partner in a passive way and get paid day after day, every Monday through Friday, without having to go out there and maintain a certain level of monthly product. That's very exciting. Another thing that makes us unmatched is our 8-year, I believe it's 7 or 8 years of trading history, not necessarily with the same software, but when you look at the history of the software that has come forth out of all the upgrades in our software and all of the EAs that have been written by the different people that are writing that type of programming. It goes way, way back. The Forex trading and Bitcoin mining software products. And then, of course, what everybody loves is truly the set it and forget it software. Now, that has not been working. You still need to go in, as far as I know, and manually rebuy. I don't know if, Michael, you may have a handle on when that might be up and running. Is it going to be when the new back office is up? Do you have any information on when the auto repurchase might be working again?
Hi, Scott. I don't have any specific timeline on that. This is something we're all asking. I'll be in Mallorca this week, and I'll see if I can get some insights for you on this. I don't think it's necessarily tied to the next website coming out. From what Horst says, this component is the most complex working part of the whole website, because when you think about it, when it does the automatic rebuy, it has to pay out commissions on 12 levels, and it's a massive, very, very, very intensive process. And I guess it's challenging for the company to have that run because it tends to interfere with a lot of other processes. So they had to turn it off. So what I would encourage you to do is to educate anybody that comes on that if they want to take advantage of the compound effect, then they need to take responsibility for this themselves and go in Monday to Friday, or depending on which part of the world you're in, it could be Tuesday to Saturday. As soon as the payments are through, you go into your back office or do it on your phone, and you rebuy as much as you can until that function is working again. And they've got a little stopgap measure in there. You press the forced auto rebuy, and what that does is it uses as much of your available balance as it can to buy as many packages as possible with that balance. So until that functionality is working again, then everybody needs to be educated that if they do want to get maximum returns with the compound effect, then they need to take responsibility for their own rebuys.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to get in and do it. Just get it, make a habit. I'm telling people, get in there every day, Monday through Friday, and even check it on the weekend, because there's a lot of people that are now seeing a lot of repurchasing, even though there's no daily return on Saturday and Sunday. We're seeing a lot of people that are getting paid tremendous amounts on their commissions from their team, and you want to get in there like that. So make sure you pay attention. This is not a hand-holding business. We're blessed. We don't have to go and do an awful lot. So I always tell people, if you can't handle 5 minutes a day, this is probably the wrong opportunity to go in there and repurchase. So I want to, I'm going to let Jason and Michael cover the briefly cover the compliance terms and conditions, not the whole thing, not 23 pages, but just how important it is to make sure you understand the risk that are involved with not following the compliance. But really what I wanted to do really quickly is because I'm getting about 4 or 5 emails a day, and I'm sure the same is the same for probably Michael, if not more, and I know Jason is also getting some, is the number of people that are posting on blogs and posting videos that are making false accusations and claims about USI-Tech being a scam. And I know that you think that it's USI, that this is all new. Now, for those of you that know me, know I've been in this industry for 43 years. And I can tell you that I've been full-time for going to my 26th year of full-time. And so I don't know exactly when I started using a computer. I've never been a computer guy, but I think I got my first computer, my first desktop, you know, the big old computer and the tower underneath the desk back in like maybe 1998 or somewhere around there, 2000. But these, ever since the internet, and especially like Google and YouTube have been out, these guys and gals that write these false and incriminating scathing reviews with stuff that's not documented, and this has been going on for 15-20 years. This is not something that just happened. Jason, if I'm just going to really quickly, I am going to do one thing. I'm going to grab the screen really quick, and I just want to give you a little idea of what I'm talking about. So hope everybody can see my screen, and I'm going to go pop up here. We can see Bitcoin up. This was a few hours ago, but 4,400. So we could be hitting that 45 to 46, it looks like you were talking about. But here's a couple examples. Okay, now for those of you that are my age, or anybody that's probably in the US especially, that's been alive for more than 25 or 30 years. Many of you know the name Billy Graham. I gave Jason this example. Billy Graham, if you don't know who he is about 90, I think he's about 93 or 94 years old, and he spent his whole life as a missionary, basically going around the world and preaching to literally hundreds of millions of people, and this man has an impeccable reputation. I don't think there's, I mean, this guy is, as far as I know, is, and I love him because I've gone to 2 or 3 when he was out there. He's retired now because he's near the end of his life. He's in his mid-90s, but he's an incredible guy. He's a man of God. He gave his life to serving God, and so he's just the kind of guy that you'd want to be like if you were going to want to be a great example to people that you were hoping could look up to you when you got into your last years of your life. Now, if you think you know Billy Graham, but you would go over to this YouTube video and see this ugly picture that Billy Graham, forerunner to the Antichrist. You know, if you know him, but you can see whoever did this not only did one video, they took the time to make 4 videos about this. And, you know, you can see, you know, and I, you know, once again, Billy Graham, 33-degree Freemason. You know, and what I'm saying is you can almost go anywhere or go to YouTube and search out anybody. You probably can go in there and search out yourself. I know that I was with a company that went out of business after a year and a half, and I don't know if a lot of the information was still out there, but I had things telling me that I was purposely ripping off people. I was a terrible person, and I'm certainly a long way from being a great person, but I'm not a terrible person when it comes to what I try to do when I work with my team in this industry. Been doing it a long time, but everybody, seemingly even Billy Graham, is involved in some sort of a evil empire. And then let me just take it a step further. You have websites like this, MLM Watchdog. There's literally hundreds of them. This website's been out, guys, since I think 25, 30 years. You can see at the very top, what do you see? Advertisement, blinking lights, advertisement, MLM Watchdog, get your free mailing list. Here's leads, buy my ebooks. And you scroll down and you can see he's Craigslist. So do you think that he wants you to take it on small print? Do you really think that this guy's taken time to really talk to people at corporate levels and ownerships and really have good information? Or do you think maybe this is trying to drive you to other links, such as good MLMs to join? MLMs, the best and the oldest, best home-based businesses, home-based ideas. Do you think these links might lead you to this person's website? Here's another example. This guy right here, his name is Ethan Vanderbilt. This is a guy that I know about personally, because just a few years ago, I don't know if they ever settled the case, this man was either investigated or arrested. I can't remember exactly how it all turned out, for pedophilia. He has been doing these. Here's his most recent. I had one of my guys ask about this. Is USI-Tech a scam? Yes, in my opinion, with a exclamation point.
Just real quickly, Scott, what I love about this guy is all the ads and all the stuff he's selling. Like if you look down, and then if you go to his if you go to his disclaimer, he's got a disclaimer,
yes,
2 pages long, where it just sort of says everything's in my opinion, none of this may be true, blah 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 blah.
Right. And here is his conclusion. Now, people are reading this stuff, and you need to know that if a person gets hung up and they make a decision not to join USI based on a guy that they didn't even take time to go find out about him, but here you go. He's called a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is Vanderbilt. And, just as you look, he is a guy that makes himself look like he's joining in the fight here. He wants your email. Do you think he wants your email to have you represented by him in trying to do right? Or do you think he's going to start emailing you all of his ads and his product? What is the real purpose of his blog? He says it to make money. You don't believe me? This is right off his page right here. Here it says Ethan Vanderbilt accepts no responsibility for the content on his website. Here you go. Disclosure of being paid to blog. This blog's content is intended to generate some money. This is his own words. And you can see, as Jason was talking about, look at, he's writing about isogenics. Isogenics has been around now for close to 30 years and is one of the most squeaky clean companies in the world. I have many, many friends that are 6- and 7-figure earners with isogenics. And is it a scam? Does that look familiar? Is USI-Tech a scam? Yes, it is, in my opinion. Sound like this? Here's the different faces, as he says, the pot calling the kettle black. And so you can find out more. They call this guy the scum of the earth. So guys, I'm going to tell you, and gals, you've got to learn to rise above the lies, because that's exactly what you're getting. And if you do have a person, and I do understand the concern, I'm not saying blow it off, but know the truth, okay? So what I recommend, in fact, if you look at his review, you'll probably notice that there is no contact information for this guy. You know why? Because he doesn't want you to call him. He doesn't have any information. He takes the same exact text in most cases and he posts it. And the reason they don't post this stuff is and are not willing to talk to you is because if you were to say, you know, who did you talk to? What principal did you get this information? He would say, oh, just look down at my disclaimer. I don't have any information. This is just my opinion. So I always say this. First of all, if a person looks at this opportunity with our company and they can't see USI as this opportunity, does that mean USI is going to be here next week or next year? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It could close down tomorrow. But the bottom line is, if you're telling people the truth, the whole truth, like not putting more into the business than they can afford to lose ever, and that means the stock market, that means 401ks, that means other cryptocurrencies. You can buy Bitcoin because 4,400 today, but Jason knows it'd be $40 tomorrow. And so, you know, we've got to be truthful. But if a person is not willing to listen, they were never a good prospect. Because if I was looking at something and I did my due diligence, the first thing I would do is I'd look at USI, the company, and then I would start to do my due diligence. And I did. Now, the reason that I don't even waste my time reading these different websites like Mr. Vanderbilt or MLM Watchdog is because I know that 99.9% is not true. It's just not true. Just like I know 99.9% of the videos out on YouTube and 99.9% of the people that post negative stuff on Facebook. It's not true. And most of those people are trying to badmouth USI or whatever they're talking about, and they're always going to say, but here's what I recommend, and then boom, there's their link, and they're just going to want to move you over to another company. So certainly we all have free choice, but don't write your upline every time somebody sends you an email. Say, hey, Daniel, do your due diligence. Frank, do your own due diligence. But I'm going to tell you that if you do, you're going to find out that this is not truth. And just ask the person that is sharing. If you have somebody call you up or email you, ask them what their source is and a phone number that you can, or at least an email where you can get in touch with their source, and then go to the source directly. Okay, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that, guys, but I just needed, because I'm seeing this. The reason that you see this stuff is USI is exploding. I don't know how many millionaires we have with USI-Tech in just the first year, and how many, I think each day there's probably at least 1 or 2 millionaires that are being added. And you know what? Most of these people are envious. You may approach them 3 months ago, 6 months ago. Now they think it's too late, so they're going to badmouth you because of envy, whatever reason, jealousy. It's just sad. But anything you guys have at this, and if not, we'll close it out and we'll move on to compliance, and then we'll open it up for some questions.
I'll just real quick, unless Michael wants to say anything. At first I struggled with this a bit. And the reason for that was because I didn't know the company well enough. I didn't know the products well enough. But now that I do, and again, it took time. I used them all. I experienced them all. I asked a lot of questions. I did a lot of interviews. I did a lot of research. I go to company events. I went to the one in the US. I flew there. I live in Bermuda. I had to fly there. It's not just driving there and getting there. I have to get a place, rent a place. But you got to do these things if you want to. If you believe in a company, you see great potential here, which I did with this. And if you want to ease your soul and your conscience, because for me, it's all about integrity. You're showing people this, right? Now, I totally believe in it now. After I went to the USI event, I was all in. I dropped 2 or 3 more Bitcoin into my own account. I was really excited, and I signed up for the London event as well, and I'm really excited for that. I got VIP seats. I can have dinner with the owners, or lunch with the owners. So I'm really excited about that, and that's going to be a great, their 1-year anniversary. They're going to be launching a new product. It's going to be a great event. But that's the kind of commitment I've made to this and learned this. Now, with my team, I sort of, I work with new people, but I tell them they got to learn the products. It's okay to ask questions because they'll, as soon as everyone hears about it, they're like, what, USI-Tech? And as soon as you type the stuff, you see scam or you see something else. And they don't even have to look. If it says, oh, look, I just typed USI-Tech and scam comes up, it must be bad. And I mean, you shake your head, but really, it just requires some education. You take some time, you talk to them. I can take any article out there now from anybody, and if we read it through point to point, I can sort of say, well, that's a lie. It doesn't work like that. But the people who don't know the company don't know the product, so they have a hard time. Oh, well, I'm just reading something, and it says it's scam, and he seems legitimate. It's a website. I have to believe everything I read. That's the problem. So it requires some education. It takes some time, but usually we can easily get over those hurdles. But again, it starts with you, and you need to do the research and know the products yourself and really feel it within yourself and not just trust your sponsor on it. Like, you have to get why it's good. And if you don't, figure out why I have that feeling and you don't, or something, for example. That's just something that's helped me. And I actually look forward to it. If anyone just comes back to me, hey, I have some friends join in Canada, and they're all excited they join. But then after they do some research, after they put in a couple of Bitcoin, they're like, holy, what did you get me into? I'm like, the best thing going. He's just like, well, I just read online. I'm like, who's that? You know him? No. What does, I mean, so, but you believe him, but you've known me for 20 years. And I'm doing this, and I've always been good at my investments, but you're trusting some guy. I said, let's go over the article. And then we go over point by point, and I explain to him. He's like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. And again, as a leader, I often have to take the time with my people to get them to that point at some point. But again, as my team grows, it's harder and harder. So we try to do these things just to get the information out in a broad perspective to make it easier on us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Michael, do you have anything? I'm sure you probably have seen that a few times, but anything that you want to say before we move on to compliance?
You guys make really good points. So with me, I have a very trusted network. So when I present something to people, I don't get people coming to me saying it's a scam, just because the level of trust in me as a person is very, very strong. So this is why the key to, as you know, Scott, in this business is relationship marketing. It really comes down to, one, your integrity as a person and the strength of your relationships. And if they trust you and love you enough, they'll know that you're not going to be presenting them something which you haven't done thorough due diligence, and know that you're getting them and recommending them something which is good. And another thing with USI-Tech to remember is that you can put your toe in the water for $60 US. And you know, how many people can't afford $60 US just to try it out? And then you can see exactly for yourself that it works. You can test it and verify it. So it's a very, very small risk. And as you said, you can come in for nothing if you want, and you can build an organization. So you don't have to break the bank. You can come in for as little as nothing, and test the waters and find it out for yourself. And once you actually start to see the returns, you see that you can take the money out, everything's working as advertised, then your confidence will grow over time. And this is our experience, that people come in small, they're a little bit nervous. Once they see that everything's working, they find out the credibility of the owners, the things that they've done before, they get excited, and their confidence grows, and then they can't help themselves but go and share it with other people. So this is the viral nature of the company, and we've got over 200,000 people globally now. And it's not because of fancy websites, it's not because of slick marketing, it's not because of hype, it's purely because the product works. And that's all it comes down to. Yes. From day one, I've been involved in the company for almost a year now. I have never missed a single commission payment in almost a year. And it works like clockwork. The Forex software works like clockwork. The Bitcoin packages work like clockwork, exactly as advertised. And if not, these guys tend to under-promise and over-deliver on everything. And then, like, for instance, those reports that came out last week, they didn't announce that they were going to bring these reports. They just appeared and said, oh, there you go. All of these things that they do, they're very, very much a no hype, all focused on delivery. So that's the key thing to remember about this, is that we have a functional product. It works. People are getting paid. People can take their money out every single day. So, you know, think for instance, you get a commission, you know, it could be $10, it could be $1,000. You can access that straight away. That's unheard of, in my opinion. So it's very liberating when you see that functionality. And the fact that it works, and it takes away all of that negativity that you see from people who just do not have that experience from the inside like we do.
Right. Absolutely. Those are all great points. Thank you guys for that. One of the things I did want to interject in regards to the marketing, we're not going to go into marketing training tonight, but I have a lot of people also that write and they'll say, when is the new marketing tools or marketing suite coming out? Or do you have a good recommendation for somebody that can build me a marketing and sales page? And all that stuff's great. And yes, we are going to have some great tools that are coming. I'm not recommending you do anything now until after they make their announcements, because we don't know what they're going to roll out. They may have a ready to go system. I don't know. I don't have any information, but stand patient now and wait to see what happens. But let me just say this, and we talked about this yesterday. You have the best marketing tool that you could ever ask for. And here's the reason why. I'm sure we have, I think, around 35 or 40 people on this event here tonight. And I can almost tell you that probably almost every one of you have been involved in at least one other effort to launch a network marketing company or an MLM business. And if I were to ask everybody to raise their hand that had made money, literally a profit in any of their MLMs, not many would raise their hand. And I would challenge anybody that is on here tonight that owns an active Bitcoin package that is not getting paid Monday through Friday and has not made any money to raise their hand saying they've not made any money. And so you're getting paid from day one, okay? So you think that is something different from the people that maybe you've approached before in a traditional MLM business before that sets us apart? But most importantly is, can you go to those people and in another network marketing company and tell them the truth about the fact that you're not making any money and expect that they're going to be willing to throw out $1,000 or $2,000 or even more to join that company? You usually get responses like, well, hey, Jamal, hey, Ian, guess what? Let me sit on the fence here and watch you for 6 months. Or, hey, Ian, get back to me in a year and let me know how you're doing. Now, the reason I say you've got the most powerful marketing tool in the world is because you got a story. That's your own testimonial. I know my buddy Tony is on here tonight, and Tony and I are like brothers. We call ourselves brothers from another mother. But the father, the truth of the matter is that I know Tony's history in network marketing businesses, and he's tried a number of them with me, and none of them have really ever really taken off. And Tony's now been in this for at least, I think, 2 or 3 months, and he's having incredible success. And when we talked, when I was over in Seattle, I said, Tony, just tell your testimonial. Just tell people what's happened to your life, why you got a little bit more bounce to your steps now. Tell your story, people, and you're going to get people that want more information. And then simply direct them to like the USA with Dan and Patty Hunt when they do their live presentations. Over at USA over on Facebook, they have all of their most recent business presentations posted over there, so you can get a copy of it and send a link out to your prospect. They're the master distributors in the US, so they're compliant, and they're very, very good, very professional in what they do. So that's the best marketing tool that you guys and gals have to work with. Tell your story.
Hey, Scott,
right?
Can you find a time? I'd just like to talk about Forex a little bit and just touch on that whenever, so fit that in whenever you can.
Oh, go ahead. Just run with it. We got, I just want to make sure that we don't keep each other up too long, and we want to get to our questions, but go for it.
Yeah, sure. I've been kind of answering questions as we go on the chat. So
good.
I've been managing that.
Great.
Yeah, so I just want to talk about, because everything you see now, even with all the videos that get posted and stuff, is all around the BTC package stuff. Not too many people talk about the Forex. So when I first came on this company, both products were there, but the presentations were longer. They included the Forex part, and then they included the BTC part. And I find as time has gone on, people have kind of a little bit, yeah, Forex is where we started, but yeah, it's all about the Bitcoin sort of thing. It's all about the Bitcoin, which is great. I mean, because that is a very lucrative part of the business. But I started the Forex myself from the beginning. So I've done over 3 months now, and I just want to tell everyone who's thinking about it or possible. Now, again, it deals with fiat currency. So if you're like me, I mean, I'm trying to get all my money out of fiat currency and buying cryptos, gold, silver, these sort of things, right? Out of that system. But I still have a good percentage of fiat currency trading that I do with the Forex. And I have to say, the product is absolutely amazing. I've traded in the stock market. I never did Forex personally myself, but the robot works in genius. I've had other people who talk to me, they're all over the place, these Forex with indicators and stuff like that. Sure, there's a lot of them, but generally they fail. Generally they don't work well. This is nothing like that. This doesn't hold stop losses. It's got a certain strategy that just works, right? And I have videos and stuff that I can show you. But I just want to say, like, I mean, this is a call. We have no new clients on here, so I can discuss a little bit. But I'm pulling in at least 3% a month on that, right? And it kind of, they're saying gives you returns between 1 and 6 a month, you know, and it looks like people overall averages. And we can show people statistics from almost 9-10 months now of people's statistics earning 2 to 3 to 4% per month. So if you have some money and it's a conservative return sort of thing, I mean, no, it's not conservative. To me, this is amazing. If you're taking 3, you times it by 12, that's 36. You compound it, maybe looking at a 45%, 50% return compounded. That's amazing return on your money. And in high-risk situations, anything volatile, where Trump gets elected or Brexit happens or whatever goes on, and it dives down 3,000, 6,000 pips or something like that, it's made in these situations. So it just works. It's a robot. It's not emotional. It doesn't have a bad day. It doesn't think a stock's going to run forever. It just works well. I mean, and all I can sort of say, if you're thinking about it by any capacity, I've helped Scott with some people. I'm trying to get everyone more knowledgeable on it because it's almost like it's being a forgotten product sort of thing, right? And just like anything, you need to diversify your portfolio. So have some in Forex, have some in your Bitcoin, put some in the new product, buy some silver, put that away in your house, store it in a vault, get some gold, get yourself a little piece of property somewhere. But these are all the things we want to do to have financial independence and safety net for what's coming ahead, because what's coming ahead is not going to be good. There's going to be a huge, and then different people say different ways, a complete collapse, a recession, one similar to 1929. I mean, there's different spectrums, but you want to take and know that it's going to happen. It's going to be happening in the next 1 to 2 years, and start to place yourself so when that happens, you can actually profit from it. Watch people like Michael Maloney and stuff like that, amazing gold and silver guy. Get online and watch some alternative videos. Don't listen. Turn off the CNN and ABC and NBC and stuff like that, and get into some real news, right? This news is all sensationalized. They're all owned by top elite people who want to give certain information out to propagate, to have a certain objective occur, right? And this industry what we're in, this decentralized cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, we are like the resistance. And this resistance in the new world order, basically what's going to happen are people that are going to have redistribution of wealth like we've never seen, sort of thing. So there's amazing opportunities ahead of us here. I'm into this stuff daily, day and night. And I love it. I mean, if you feel the passion I do, it's awesome. Anyway, that's it.
And I can attest to that, Jason, because he's 4 hours ahead of me, and I can be talking to him at 9, 10 o'clock at night, which is 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's on a work night when he's going to work at probably 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So thank you for that. That's really encouraging. Michael, I'm just going to call you out here if you can for the next just a couple minutes, if you're still there. If you can just kind of address the things that you think are most important about the new policies and procedures that people that are on here should hear from you. And Jason, if you have anything to add to it, please do. But Michael, can you touch a little bit on that?
Sure, certainly, Scott. Look, I apologize, my video's off. My internet's a bit patchy at the moment, so you'll get a better read on me if I just speak. So the main thing you need to focus on with compliance at the moment is not making income claims, which can be considered to be enticement. And the main thing that they're enforcing at the moment is that people do not take screenshots of their back office, in particular what you've made in terms of your Bitcoin earnings. So they're very, very strong on that at the moment. So if you're on social media like Facebook, do not take screenshots of your back office, because you can put yourself into hot water. My understanding is it's fine if you're sitting down at a coffee shop and talking to your friend. You can pull out your app, you can show them, but anything that's in the public domain is going to be dangerous. And if you do, like you said, Scott, if you have videos out there that are not approved by the company, that are not according to the compliance regulations at the moment, then take them off, whether they're on YouTube or any social media channel, just to keep yourself safe. The other things to keep in mind is the language that you use when you're talking about the Bitcoin product. And the main thing that you need to keep in mind is this is not an investment, because then you're taking the company into dangerous areas in terms of SEC regulations, because this is not an investment. So when you're talking about it, it has to be in terms of a product that you use to get return on capital. And that's the language. So if you want to know the right language, you log into your back office, click on shop, and when it comes up to buy a Bitcoin package, it'll tell you exactly the language that you need to have in mind when you're talking to people. Return on capital, and you can obviously say it's on average 0.75% to 1.25% per day over approximately 140 days. So you have to keep in mind that kind of language. And as Scott says, if you want to refer people to material and use company endorsed material, for instance, that's Dan and Patty have put out there on their channel, the USI-USA.com is their website. They have a Facebook page. And if you do see people who are not compliant, then it's your duty, actually, if you read the terms and conditions, we have an obligation to notify the company, because it's for our own benefit. We want to keep this around as long as possible. So it's your job, obviously, one thing as a leader, to instruct your people on exactly the things that they need to be aware of from a compliance point of view. And if there are other affiliates out there who are skirting the boundaries, so to speak, then you do have an obligation to pull them into line. I'm not saying you have to be a police officer, but direct those incursions to the company, or you can direct them to me and I'll pass them up the line. It's just to keep us all safe. It's not to try to make anybody's life difficult. It's just that we're onto such a good thing here and we need to protect it. And that's the key to compliance. We want to keep everybody safe on the right side of the law, so that we can keep this wonderful thing going as long as possible. I encourage everybody, obviously, to read all the terms and conditions. And I understand that a lot of the things that are in there will be amended, and they will be made a little bit more comprehensible, because you can see that the language is quite legalistic. But it's quite a relief to know that they have those there. It's really just to protect us and to keep us safe. So don't look upon them as restrictions or things that are going to hinder you in terms of your building your business. They're there to protect you, and that's the main thing to keep in mind.
So, Michael,
Scott, yes.
Sorry, Michael. Just one question regarding that. So I'm even running into some situations where I have some people who have family in other countries, and they've signed them on and want them to build a business, and they've already put in some packages. So now we have to look at having them, for example, register under me or something, because they can't, because they're family and things like that. How do we effectively make this happen, sort of thing? Because this became clear later on, so I'm sure there's many of these situations. And so we'll have some people that want to build the business, but they want to do it in a way where all of a sudden they get their account closed because they're not within guidelines. Can we just email the help desk and sort of say, okay, and move registration? Because they can't just get a new email address, because they'll lose those packages on that account, sort of thing. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, or seen any?
Yeah, I mean, the best route is to contact the help desk. And what I understand now is you can actually request them to give you a call. There is a phone service. It's not actually advertised in the support functionality, but I've been told that they do have phone support now. So if you want clarity, then I would suggest ask them to give you a call. I don't know exactly the turnaround time. But right now, the main thing to consider is that you cannot sponsor a family member or someone in the same household if they intend to build a business. So if they're going to just buy the packages and use it as a customer, obviously it's difficult at the moment because we don't have delineation between registering as a customer and as an affiliate. So the reason all these things are coming about is because there was rampant abuse in the company, and what I understand, it was widespread. There were people who were registering up to 10 accounts in the same household, and what that does is it cuts out commissions from your sponsor and their sponsor, and it's very, very unfair. So they had to draw a line somewhere. So the main things that currently, it may change. Look, this is all kind of in flux at the moment, but just to keep in mind that if a family member wants to build a business and they cannot be sponsored by you, so there's nothing to stop somebody else, say for instance your sponsor, from sponsoring them. So that they cannot build a business, but they can buy the products and they can use them. So that's as it stands at the moment. I mean, I know that a lot of people are upset about this because they might have signed up, one of their family members who wants to build a business, and they kind of feel as though this change has been brought on too quickly without notification. But the fact is that the company had to draw a line somewhere just to stop the abuse.
I
Just
believe.
because
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
yeah, I mean, it's really just because there were so many complaints from sponsors who were being cut out of commissions, seeing that people are signing up X number of family members to push the commissions further down, and they could capitalize or basically game the compensation plan.
Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to see if I can, and you may or may not be able to bring clarity to this, but my understanding is, like, let's say, for instance, I wanted to enroll Stephanie directly, my wife, directly to me now, even though I joined well before July 31st, which was the final day that this affected. Because she is enrolling after that date, I would not be able to enroll her. She would have to enroll under somebody else. Is that correct?
But what's got my understanding and my reading of the current rules is that you could sponsor Stephanie, but she could not build a business. So she could just buy the Bitcoin packages. If she decided to go and refer somebody then and thought, okay, well, I want to build my own independent business, then she would need to be sponsored by somebody, out apart from you. So either it's your sponsor or somebody else that she wants to work with.
Right, absolutely. That's because that has happened with some people. They go, well, I joined 3 months ago and I want to enroll my son. He just turned 18 and he does have friends that he wants to refer. You cannot do it only because he's enrolling after August 1st. And so that's the reason on that rule. So if that does happen, you aren't going to be penalized. I had a guy that all they did was send an email and asked him which account he wanted to keep, and there were some packages under the second position, and they were able to move those into his account before they turned off the second account. And so that went over really, really well and was an easy transition for him. So
okay, that's great.
Okay, so anyways, okay, well, Michael, thanks for that. Okay, so we don't want to keep anybody here. Let's just try to keep this at 15 minutes or so. We still have almost everybody on that joined us. And Jason, you've kept pretty much, it looks like, up on chat. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have. I'm pretty sure I've gotten everybody on chat.
Okay, so if you have questions, there's a couple of things you can do. You can type it in and Jason will respond. Or if you have a microphone on your computer that's working, down at the bottom of the video screen, there should be a little microphone. And right now, if you're muted out, it should have a little red strip over it. Just click on that. Just unmute yourself if you have a question for any of us, and just go ahead, ask your question, and then click it again, and it will remute you.
There's a question from there's no name. It's BYJHULSZ2, but he says this is in the same household, correct? This is regarding the. So yeah, but even from what I understand, actually, and like in my situation, my girlfriend has a brother who's in the Philippines, and she registered him, but because they're family relation, I still understand that still applies, and he can be a customer. He could buy 1,000 packages, 5,000 packages, and it could be fine. And then the commissions could flow that way, but he could not build a business. Is that correct, Michael?
Yeah, yes, that's as it stands at the moment, Jason. This might change because we're going to Mallorca, and there's a lot of people who, are kind of unhappy with this at the moment. And it might change, but as
Okay.
it stands now, you cannot sign up a family member who intends to build a business. If they do intend to build a business, then they'll need a sponsor outside of your, well, apart from you, basically, whether that's your sponsor or somebody else they want to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily personally agree with it myself. Like, they're nowhere, they're not even in the same country. I don't see really conflict of interest there so much, but it is what it is. So I'll just hopefully, maybe it'll change, maybe it won't. But again, we all have to just deal with the way it is. One good thing I see about this for everyone is that, again, if a company didn't care about the future, they wouldn't be putting these policies in place.
That's
They're
right.
putting things in place that's going to make sure they stick around. And that, even though, like, it's funny, people at first will sort of say, oh, I mean, there's no regulations. It must be a scam. As soon as you put regulations on, oh, I don't like it. There's too many regulations. It doesn't work for me. You can't make anyone happy. It's either it's too regulated or it's not regulated enough. Anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you,
Correct.
Michael.
Yeah.
But that's also the same thing with the KYC. They're not implementing that to make our lives difficult. It's to keep everybody safe and on the right side of the law. So if for whatever reason the company is audited or questioned, are you doing complying with anti-money laundering laws, KYC laws, then the company can show yes, we are complying. And that's really for our own protection and obviously for the protection of the company. So you have to keep these things in mind. They're not implementing these things. It's a huge undertaking for the company. They've had to put on, I think, 20 new staff just to deal with the verification. So it's a big expense for them. They're not doing it to make our lives difficult. It's really just for our own long-term benefit.
Right. Right. That's really good and really important information because we just want to keep the company there. I mean, this company, what we're going to experience over the next few years as we move forward, especially in going public, it's going to benefit. The best thing that we can all do right now, if you're going to build a team because you're going to find that with the release of new products, new software, new opportunities with new products that will be released on a regular basis. When you have an existing team in place and they start buying products, it's going to immediately generate instant income for you. This is one of the things that I understand because I've been doing this for a long time, and people that have been working that have downlines that are starting to take off. You're going to have a new product that's going to hit here in another month, and when people start buying that product, they're going to immediately generate commissions for you and your downline team. So it's exciting, and we just want to make sure, and Jason, great point. If the company just didn't care, and if they just really weren't interested in protecting and being around, there'd be no need to go to all of the spending of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on all of the legal research and licensing and registering that they've done. So anybody have a question? You can either type it. Jason's done a great job answering, but you can unmute yourself.
We have another question.
Scott, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. This is Michael Johnson. Would it be okay to tell a person that they can earn 20% per month on their capital, since it's an average of 1% per day and not weekends, 5 days a week?
Okay, great question, Michael. What I would say is approximately. So you just, rather than say you put it in terms of potential rather than actual fact, because we can't guarantee anything with this kind of opportunity. So as long as you're not promising anything and making guarantees, even though, look, I've had the whole cycle go through for my first packages that have actually expired with 140%. So I know that they're all going through. It's giving on average 0.75% to 1.25% per day. But as long as you use that kind of language as you can, or potentially, or approximately, rather than making firm guarantees, then it should be fine.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Scott, we have another question here from Chuck. Are there any formulas that can be used to attain a certain monthly income? How many packages would you need to earn $5K per month?
Ooh, well, obviously you can use the calculator in the back office, but I think that when I look at kind of getting an idea, I just normally take the price per package and I take that 1%, and basically use that as an approximate or estimated amount for the daily payout. So one Bitcoin package right now would be in US dollars, roughly about 60 to 65 cents per day, Monday through Friday. So if you had 50 packages at 60 cents, you'd be looking at about $30 a day, 5 days a week. You could figure that that was about, 150 per week. Do the math that way. That's the way I do it. It doesn't mean it's always, but I want to make sure that they know that they can see their earnings in their back office if they want to take the time to go back under packages and look at the earnings. There's now new reports back there that they can actually see the profits on each package. So there's much more detail back there now in the back office. So.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in, Scott. Frederick made a good point that it's not 20% a month. It's actually closer to 6% a month if we're talking in terms of profitability. So you've got 40% return over 6.5 months. It's approximately 6% a month. So you've got to factor in that you're getting your return on capital, and always bear that in mind. So when you're doing this kind of calculations, you do have to keep in mind that after that 140 days is up, or 140% I should say, then the packages expire. So the way that you want to keep your income going indefinitely is to use the rebuy function, because then that basically prevents you from having to put any more money into the system. So you can have your money keep working for you, and there's no reason you can't keep taking your withdrawals out to pay your bills or your living expenses. But if you want to keep it going in perpetuity without having to put any more money in, then you do need to use the rebuy function, because after a certain period of time, the current packages will expire.
Good point. Thank you, Frederick, on that. Anybody else have questions? Unmute yourself if you've got a mic, or you can just type it in, and Jason will respond to that. We want to respect everybody's time, so let's keep it for just like another 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. So this is your great opportunity, and go ahead.
Can anybody hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Just a quick question. Will and when will USI be developing a BTC trading robot? Is that in the plan? Just like the Forex, basically, but for Bitcoin.
I don't have any timeline. Horst did talk about this at the event in Pennsylvania, that they are working on something like this. So just keep in mind that they are hoping to release such a product, but I don't know exactly when it's coming out. I mean, the whole philosophy of the company is to allow you to make money with your money, and they want to make it as easy as possible for people. So I know one thing to keep in mind is that the liquidity in the cryptocurrency markets is just getting bigger and bigger. So it makes these opportunities for automatic systems a lot more easy to implement. So it's something that they're working on, but I don't know the time frame. I'll find out in Mallorca. It's a good question, Frederick. I'll ask that when I'm sitting down to these guys, and maybe if I can get them to have a few wines or beers, and they'll be more relaxed to talk to me.
Loose with their tongue. And you made a good point, Michael. It's true. The immaturity of the market right now, what are we, 160 billion overall in the whole cryptocurrency sphere. And when we look at the Forex, we're at a $5.4 trillion sort of market. So yeah, I think with that sort of system, you need a more stable market so the robot can do his thing and not risk potential loss. I don't think they would want to put something out there in a market where they're not secure on and have their name tied to that personally. And that's what I've been thinking.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
I don't know.
All you need to do is unmute yourself with the mic, and then once you get your question answered, just go ahead and remute yourself, or you can type it in. Anybody on the audio side have a question? Unmute yourself.
Terry has one here.
Okay.
How do you delete someone who signed up by mistake? Now, as far as I know, I've asked this before, you cannot. But there is a way, I think on the profile in the top right, you can get that person to go in and deactivate their account. So I don't know what that actually does and if it works and the person would just disappear. Do any of you guys have any? Does anyone have any experience with that?
I've not done that. Michael, have you?
I know the functionality is there, but to be honest, I don't know what happens. I know on the old Matrix view, if someone was deactivated, it would actually show up as purple. So I guess, their account would basically be
Inactive.
be shuttered, be inactive. But it's funny because even though they're inactive, they do show up in your structure, but it's basically a dead account. So if that person wanted to sign up again, then what I would recommend is that they use a whole new email address, just so there's no conflict at all.
Yeah, Terry, you said wrong email entered. So, I mean, if they can just put in the right email and that account just will stay there and it doesn't really matter and they'll start with a new email account, then you will be fine. Like I have people that registered twice. Personally, I'd like to get it cleared up just because if people are not, who joined and just decided not to put anything in like over a period of time, I would just rather them out. So I know kind of true numbers. And I think in the new system, the matrix is going to be gone, right? The 3x3. So all this flow down is not going to happen anymore, I believe. That's my assumption.
You're talking about spillover.
Yeah.
In a unilevel compensation plan, there's never any spillover. Anybody that you personally enroll, they always will be on your first level. You can go as wide as you want, from 1 person to 1 million people, and then anybody that they would enroll, your second generation will always be, because in unilevels there's unlimited width in a unilevel. So the matrix will go away when they change over, and remember, the matrix over there is only for people that actually have basically purchased our software license and opened a trading account, or people that are fully qualified that are referring people that are building their account. But that's going to go away soon, so it will no longer be part of the compensation.
So Fred was saying, do we make any commissions on spillovers? As far as I know, right now you potentially could, but that's just on the Forex side. For example, if you got you're down level, you got lots of people, someone's not qualified, they purchase, it's going to flow up. Everyone at that point, I think it's 12 euros in your account. Now,
if they're qualified, they have to be qualified. So if Frederick wasn't qualified, if he did not have his Forex license or have 3 people who have 12 active Bitcoin, he would not be qualified. So he would not receive commission on spillover unless he was under the current compensation plan.
Okay, so here David T. Roberts has actually had some experience with the deactivation button. He said the person tried it. He says nothing happened, so I suggested for him to contact the support. Well, thanks, David. It's good. I was going to suggest it too with some people, because I'm personally going to call all the people that haven't done anything. I'm going to say to them, hey, I noticed you haven't, because come now with the reports, you can see exactly who hasn't done much or anything. So then I'm suggesting everyone, go through your own accounts, call everyone, say, hey, I just noticed you haven't, let me help you get some if you want, show them that's still a great opportunity. If they really don't want to, and then maybe make note of that, and then we can look forward to hopefully having help us clear it. Scott has mentioned to me in the past that in general, these type of organizations, as they mature, they will do a purge every 3 months, potentially. The company decides what's right for them, just to keep the numbers down or more correct. Is that right, Scott? Yeah.
Yep. And I see a question real quick, because we're going to give this in 3 more minutes. We're going to jump off. But Tony, every time that you rebuy, you're starting a new contract. So if you go in there and rebuy one package, it starts, that package begins a whole new 140 day. When you have existing packages that reach the 140 days, they expire and go away. So basically, if you're rebuying, you're starting. If you look at your packages, you'll see that immediately after you rebuy a package, it will immediately take you over to your package screen, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see the newest one that you just bought, and it will say 0 days, because it won't pay you until tomorrow if you were rebuying tonight.
Yes, and Frederick, you made a good point. There are new reports, and one is very good to look at. It's called the earnings report, and what it shows you is the amount that you've made so far and the amount that's left on the existing packages that you have. So you can get a sense for exactly what you're going to be making in the future with the existing packages.
Yeah, it's a great report, really helpful. It just tells you, like Michael said, the most important thing is keep on building. There's a point in time that you're going to want to start withdrawing, but you should always look for a point after you get whatever you need to get, that whether it's 60 or 70%, just do the math yourself. They don't use that drop down that they used to use on the automatic rebuy. But some people say that having an idea of how much you're earning every day. So like when I get done with this, I'm going to go in and repurchase with all of my earnings before I go to bed. And tomorrow night, I'll go back in the same time and I'll be able to see how much I have. Another thing you can do is watch what you have earned from your referral commissions from your team, right? That's stuff that you're earning this weekend, that tomorrow you'll only thing that you're going to see adding to it up until I think it's 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock Eastern time is your direct commissions. And then when they do the daily runs at about 7 Eastern time, I think is when it happens, then the additions that are added in would be your daily returns. So I think, Michael, you mentioned that a good number that seems to work is to withdraw 30% when you're ready and repurchase with 70. Is that what you're feeling?
One of my guys did the numbers on it, and he said if you want to keep a perpetual income at a certain level, then you need to, yeah, so Frederick, you let those numbers look good. So essentially, taking out about 29-30% and keep 70% running through, and then that's a very, very good balance to still draw an income, but also still have a steady state of return over time.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think we're just going to go ahead and respect everybody's time. It's very late on the East Coast and over in Bermuda. So we have this recorded, and what I'm going to do is have Jason obviously send it out to his team. And Jason, if you would forward out to me that link when you get it posted. And what I usually do is just go ahead and upload it as a non-published, whatever that title is, over on YouTube. So it just has a YouTube link that is not public. And then get me that link, and then I'll send it out to my team of about 250 people on my list tomorrow, so they can review this. But I think it's been a great time. And I want to go ahead, Jason. You got something you want to add?
Yeah, one more thing. Listen, Michael, before you go, could you just share with the group here just the success? You've been with the company for over a year now, and just some of the successes, the lifestyle you're able to live now from a standpoint of how this company has treated you. You know, since I've got to know you, Michael's not my I'm in his organization overall, but Scott is sort of my upline. But Michael's helped me tremendously. He always answers my questions. I really want to give a big shout out to him. He's supportive. He tries to jump on calls every time he gets. Very, very helpful man. And I just wanted you to share just a little bit about your successes with the company, and just to kind of from an inspirational standpoint. I mean, you've inspired me. You and Scott have inspired me tremendously. So I just think it would just help a little bit for whatever you can share.
Sure, Jason. Now, look, I don't like to share exactly how much I'm making, because I think most people's minds would be blown, and it blows my mind when I think about it. But we started with pretty much nothing with this company, and most of what I've got with the Bitcoin packages has really been through the strength of team building and bringing on people like Scott and yourself who've gone to work. And currently, I've got close to 80,000 people in my organization. And I'm managing accounts for family at the moment, and it's looking like we've almost got 20,000 packages that are working. And that's really just been built up from commissions and the rebuys and just the power of the compound effect. So you can do the numbers on that. So, it's staggering the returns that we're getting, and the quality of people that are coming in. That's the thing that's impressed me the most about USI-Tech. We've got, in about 4 levels down from me, I've got a guy in Las Vegas who's a billionaire. He met Horst, and he was so impressed with Horst that this guy's getting ready to put in $10 million into USI-Tech. So it just goes to show the credibility of the company, that you've got people with very, very high net worth who've looked at this closely, done all the due diligence, met the owners, and been impressed. And at the same time, I've got people in my organization who have never ever had success online. They've been trying for years, and they're blowing it out of the water. They've got organizations of hundreds, if not thousands, and they're setting themselves up for retirement, their families up for retirement, and that's just on the strength of the fact that the product works, and they're so excited. They go out there and share, and it's been such a blessing to see people's lives transformed. I mean, our lives totally transformed. We've been traveling nonstop for the last 6 or 7 months. We've been, I think, in 4 continents, 8 different countries, 25 cities, I think, in the last 6 months. And we're just about to go on a tour of Europe and then go back to Australia and get ready for our baby arriving. So it's been a whirlwind 7 months or so since the Bitcoin package is launched. And every day I'm seeing about 1,000 people coming into my organization. And it's just, like I said, it's just because the product works. It's not built on hype. It's built on results. And it's been, total blessing for us.
Yeah, you totally live in a lifestyle that I'm, loving it. Loving the ability, the freedom to go where you want to go, the things you want to do, and then help. And just, I mean, you're nonstop helping people. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, listen, and Michael, we do so much appreciate you. I echo what Jason just said. And by the way, Jason, Michael is your upline because he's my upline. So
yeah. Right on.
But the bottom line is Michael is unselfish with his time. Jason also commends you at your just getting started in this industry. But I would guess that you'd been in it for 50 years because of your understanding and how you grasp it and your understanding about the path that you're on. And I can promise you this, that you will be living that lifestyle that Michael has enjoyed because of the effort that you're putting in. And that's to encourage everybody. I don't say these things just to puff up your head. You're doing a fantastic job. We're so thankful that everybody that's on this tonight, it's great to see people. Ian, great to hear from you. I know we've been wanting to talk. Give me a call maybe this week and we can connect. Tony, all of you that joined us tonight, thank you so much. We'll get a recorded copy of this out to you tomorrow. And Michael, once again, Jason, thanks for putting this together with us. And we'll look forward to doing this on a more frequent basis, especially, Michael, if you can get any updates from Mallorca and just kind of maybe bullet point them, get them off to me so I can put something together while you're still traveling and heading back to Australia. Perhaps a week or week and a half from now, we can come back on, Jason and I, and we'll share some stuff, especially if Michael can buy some rounds of drinks to get Horst and Mike and Ralph to open a little bit more freely about some of the inside info coming. But certainly we're going to have a lot of info from Jason direct. We'll try to do a live event from Jason over in his hotel, him and Rush over in the UK.
That sounds great. I mean, now we should do a live one as soon as we're done, or even from there, or something like that.
Yeah,
we could do a
from
Zoom.
there, yes.
From there, we can do something. And when I get back,
and maybe you can even grab Michael and Mike and plug them in since you're going to be there with them, or not Michael, but maybe one of the leaders over there to sit down and see if you can get them on camera for a few minutes. I know that might not be possible, but at least we can get you. I know you're a great note taker and very, very good at that, good understanding, and that would be great to have a live update from over there.
Okay, I'll try to make that happen for everyone.
Okay, all right. With that being said, you can go ahead and sign us off, Jason, as just have to go ahead and turn off the recording, and then we'll look forward to talking to everybody very soon. Thanks for joining us, and have a great evening. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.